Hi friends, today I'm going to see how these glass shards colored with acrylic ink will do in a resin piece. Someone that left a comment wondering if you can dye glass using acrylic ink versus alcohol ink, and so I did pour some acrylic ink over some glass, and after a little over a week, it was finally dry enough that I could touch it without getting ink on my fingers. I hypothesized that it took so long for it to dry because it doesn't have the benefit of having the alcohol in it to help the drying process. But they are dry and they look really beautiful. The color that I used was the Daler Rowney, I think, acrylic ink in the shade dark green. This is what she looks like. I'm going to try it now in a resin piece and see if the color doesn't bleed. So I'm going to go ahead and mix up some resin and then I will be right back. All right, guys, so before we get started, I am using a really old resin because I didn't want to waste like brand new product. So this is the resin. It is, look, a little yellow because it's old. And when I say old, I mean like 4 or 5 years old. It works fine for the most part. And so usually when I use this, I will add color to it and not use it for clear pieces. But I think for this purpose, it will work so that I can see if this dark green is bleeding into the resin. So what I'm going to do is just add a generous helping of shards to the mold now. I'm going to try to keep the shards mostly just on the edge like that, and then we're going to add the resin. I'm going to go ahead and grab my respirator. I do have a glove on at least this finger because this hand is the one I normally use to do everything, and I don't want to get any resin on my wedding ring, so, or on my hands, to be honest. So let's go ahead and pour it in. I'm gonna go ahead and let this cure and then we will see what it looks like. All right, guys, here is our resin piece with the green glass fully cured. I did go ahead and sprinkle some more glass up at the top so that it kind of rises above the coaster, as you can see. Gives it a little texture. The resin, from my standpoint, looks exactly the same color that it looked when I poured it. So essentially, it looks like the green did not bleed. I'm going to go ahead and take it out of the mold. And then I'm going to also use the stones in a UV resin that's a lot newer. So the color will be clear and we'll be able to make sure that it's not bleeding. But this is what it looks like. Oh, no. Yeah, look at that. There is no bleeding of that color. So I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit in a mold. And I already have the mold ready. So it's just a little jewelry mold, and I put some of the stones off to the side so that I can still have the ability to see if the color bleeds. I'm going to do it like all around the edges. So hold on, let me move them around. And then I'm just going to use a UV resin that I bought from Amazon. So as you guys can see, it is perfectly clear, especially in comparison to the regular resin that I used. So we're just gonna pop it in there. And let me make sure I move it around a little bit. Grab a Q-tip, or a toothpick, sorry. Even moving the glass around. I'm not seeing any issues with any bleeding.